ecologist here at the U.S. Forest Service in Athens, Georgia. My specialty is invasive plants affecting southeastern forests. What I'm really curious about is what makes a weed a weed. The reason I'm curious about weeds is that I noticed as a child that some plants would grow in certain places and some plants wouldn't grow in other places. So I would plant a flower, let's say like a marigold, in a flower bed, and then I noticed my mom would tell me to pick out the ones that were next to it, and I didn't know why. So I wondered, what makes a weed a weed? Well, when I was in high school, I worked for a commercial landscape nursery doing retail, and I learned a lot about different landscaping plants, and I found out that some of the landscaping plants that we sold were considered invasive. And the reason is that sometimes it would grow into neighbors' yards and they couldn't get rid of it. And after 20 years, they would come to me at the cashier desk and ask me, how do I get rid of it? And I didn't know. So I went to college and I studied plant ecology and botany, and I went to grad school and I got my doctorate trying to understand the genetics of invasive plants, to try and understand the genetic basis of what makes a weed really a weed. I'm interested in genetics because there's a lot of things that plants can express in places they live, and I want to ask the plants, why do they grow, and why do they grow where they grow? Well, you can't really talk to a plant, it's not going to talk back to you. So I have to go into its genes. As we all know, deoxyribonucleic acid, also known as DNA, is a blueprint for all organisms, for our development and for our growth. Therefore, I look at the plant's DNA to try and figure out what's going on there. Is there a difference between the DNA of plants that are considered weeds and the DNA of the plants that are not considered weeds? So all organisms exist in space and time. With weeds, one of the things we're interested in is how far it has spread, which can include a very small area, such as a single location, or a very large area covering most of a country. In addition, with DNA, we can use that information to look back in time, things that we don't understand that helped form the blueprint of that plant's existence. So one of the most important weeds here in the southeastern United States is called Kogan grass, otherwise known by its scientific name, Imparatta cylindrica. This weed goes from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee. So it is considered highly widespread and a very expensive weed to remove. My question is, where did Kogan grass come from? How far has it spread? And what is the likelihood for it to spread even further, costing many, many people lots of money? Kogan grass is considered undesirable by people for many, many reasons. So we want to know, what does Kogan grass do to its environment? Well, we have found out that Kogan grass is considered pyrogenic. And what that means is that Kogan grass can lead fire regimes towards more frequent and intense fires, therefore killing other plants and displacing wildlife throughout a forest stand. In addition, economically, Kogan grass is considered one of the world's top 10 weeds. It is considered weedy here in the United States, and it is very expensive to manage.
Visit the Natural Enquirer website for more information. There you can find more about developing your own testable question.